everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Continuing the American Cancer Society readathon. Have you donated yet? We're about halfway through the book. I know, can you believe it? There are 39 chapters. We are on chapter 19, and we're going to do chapter 19 and 20 because they're both short. So, if you haven't donated yet, what are you waiting for? All right. Enough of my spiel. If you like my videos, please click like, subscribe, ding-a-ling the notification bell so you know when I upload new ones. Let's keep going. The Eyes in the Impossible by Dave Eggers, chapter 19. For the next week, Bertrand and his girlfriends did what they call reconnaissance. It meant that they flew and hopped around the museum and then gathered outside my hollow and used their beaks to sketch their ideas to get me inside. They squabbled among each other and flapped their wings haughtily. They did this to make their points and their passions known, and then they left again to gather more information. Meanwhile, I was told to stay unseen. The rescue at the peanut pond had brought unwanted attention, and then my staring at the pictures through the museum window, well, even while wearing the pink sweater, had made it worse. There's talk, Bertrand said, about this unusual dog in the park. Or unusual dogs, plural, he added. No one is sure whether it's one dog or two or a whole herd of eccentric and sometimes heroic dogs who sometimes wear sweaters, but there is curiosity out there, and it's best that you stay out of sight for another few days. So I did. I stayed in my hollow and slept. I lost track of days. I dreamt while awake and was awake while dreaming. I slept so much I thought I forgot how to wake up. But then, 200 days later, Bertrand woke me at my hollow one pink morning. Okay, he said, we have a plan. We're getting you into that building. Yeah, it's a pretty good plan, Yolanda said, and I had not noticed Yolanda was there. Now I saw that everyone was there, Sonia too, and Argus, and everyone seemed excited about this plan. It could work, Angus said. I was surprised to see Angus awake in the morning, and was more surprised to see he had a few other raccoons with him too, including Johnson and Sharif. They were crafty and experienced with getting in and out of places they were not meant to be. And nocturnal as they were, they all looked shockingly awake. They were smiling with clenched teeth and unblinking eyes. I didn't want to know what they thought, but it was clear they were less optimistic than the birds. They were there out of a sense of duty, but their opinion about the plan seemed iffy. It's an interesting plan, Sharif added finally. This is the thing with raccoons. They think their plans are better, always better, but then they offer no such better plans. Instead, they squint a bit, smirk a bit, and other animals explain their plans. And then the raccoons go along with these plans because they have no plans of their own. It's an ongoing thing that is maddening if you think about it too much. The signs say the museum is open every day but Monday, Yolanda said. So Monday's the day. One woman comes in the morning and opens the building. From the loading side, Bertrand added. We're assuming she shuts down the alarm, Yolanda said. So once that happens, we're halfway there. All day, there are cleaners and workers who come and go from that same door. It's propped open from time to time, too. Very accessible, Sonia added. Weirdly easy. What about the humans? I asked. Well, that's where these guys come in, Yolanda said and nodded to Angus and Sharif and Johnson. Sharif and Johnson were still smiling their stiffest smiles. Everyone stared at them, and they said nothing, as if not wanting anyone to confuse the plan with anything they would have concocted themselves. The doors will be open, Yolanda continued, so it's just a matter of Bertrand and I finding the right time. To fly in? I guess, indeed, Bertrand said. We'll fly in one at a time, though. We'll immediately take different routes, both of us heading toward the top floor. It'll seem logical to humans, Yolanda added, to have the crazy birds head upward to the skylights. There's a room up there that has a door, Bertrand continued. We'll fly into that room and perch up in the highest window frame. All this is in hopes that all the humans will be in the building, and the building will chase us, get all worked up, and spend a bunch of time trying to catch us, get us down, etc. And meanwhile, I roamed the museum. I asked something about it jabbed at me. It wasn't quite enough. It wasn't the right higher purpose. In part, Bertrand said, but Angus will also be waiting at the doorway to sound the warning if any humans are headed down in your direction. If that happens, you'll have plenty of time to either hide or make for the exit. Same way you came in. And how many humans are usually there on Mondays? I asked. About 8 throughout the day, Yolanda said, but no more than 4 at any one time. We were thinking the best time would be midday, when there are only 2 there. That's between shifts, I assume. Once they see us all, they'll control the animals people, I noted. Oh, of course they will, Bertrand said, but it usually takes them a few hours to get here, to get anywhere. Bertrand then turned to me. You think that'll be enough time? I didn't know what to say. I'd never been inside that building. I didn't know what was in there. I have no idea, I said, and I haven't agreed to this part yet. No, Yolanda said with compassion. I mean, I continued, couldn't we all get caught, or at least one of us, had a terrible premonition just then that it would not be me that got caught, but one of the birds. I pictured fragile wings mangled in a heavy net, beaks straining, terrified eyes, but the birds themselves seemed wholly unworried. See, the dog would be great at this. I had a similar spidey sense. So we're getting a lot of warnings here, so brace yourselves, people. All right. The beauty part comes in there, Bertrand said. When the control the animal people come, they rush up to the 3rd floor with the nets. That's when you, Johannes, exit. You're first out of the building, Yolanda said. All the humans headed up to the 3rd floor, Bertrand said, because they've been told it's 2 birds. But right when they're on the stairwell heading up, Sharif and Johnson appear heading down. They run right past them, Yolanda said, laughing suddenly and helplessly, her eyes wet. Bertrand was grinning. Sharif and Johnson lead the people onto the 2nd floor, leaving the 3rd floor pretty much empty. That's when we get out of there. We both fly down to the loading dock and out, while everyone's chasing the raccoons. What about Sharif and Johnson? I said. All along, the raccoons continued their tense, unsettling smiles. There was no animal more clever and open to wily and even diabolical plans, but they seemed unsure about this one. At the same time, they were clearly afraid to hurt the feelings of the birds who had planned it so carefully. Apparently, there's a garbage chute, Sharif said dubiously. There is, Yolanda said. It leads to the dumpsters in the basement. It's been proposed that we go through the garbage chute, Johnson explained to me, and into the dumpster. And how do they get out of the dumpster? I asked. I thought I was looking out for my raccoon friends, but Sharif didn't take it that way. He looked at me like I asked how asked how they know how to eat food. We can get out of a dumpster, he said flatly. This would be true. That's a no-brainer. All right. Chapter 20. I was still keeping a low profile, so I stayed out of sight, turning to my friend's plan to get me into the museum and into my plan to get the bison out of their enclosure. This, I knew now, was the nobler purpose Bertrand had talked about. The planning kept my mind off of my own troubles and gave me the same sense of mission Bertrand spoke of. Every reasonable creature knows that the worst thing any creature can do all day is think of themselves. If there are troubles in your mind, you should think first of the troubles of others. It is the essence of liberation. That is, freedom begins the moment we forget ourselves. It's a very interesting concept. And my purpose, I was convinced, was to liberate the bison. The idea intoxicated me. Every moment of the day, I pictured them running free on the beach, then on the plains and through the forests. I was unsure where these plains and forests were, but when I saw Freya and Meredith and Samuel running, ooh, look at this picture. Wow. That's a beautiful plain with some trees on it. This must be what Johannes is imagining. Running free of fences, I smiled and felt it might be the work I was meant to do on this earth, and that they would be proud. They would be proud, would be away and running in some other place, and I would likely never see them again, but they would look back on me and feel proud of me. It was not that I did not feel their pride in me. Freya had entrusted me with being the eyes, and I had never wavered in her support in me. And yet I felt some creeping lack, some sense that they were expecting only so much of me. But what if I did something extraordinary? What if I liberated them and sent them into some new and transcendent level of existence? They would think differently of me. They would be surprised by my ingenuity, my ability to rally the animals and pull off the impossible. Hey, there it is, roll credits. So I continued to work out the wheres and hows and whos. I wondered how many raccoons we would need, as many as possible. I thought about the escape being at night. It must be. I thought about the escape being during windy, stormy weather. This would help. I thought that our best chance would be on one of our dark and moonless nights when the winds whip and hunt, when branches crack and break, when the human lights go out, when the roads are closed by fallen trees. That, I thought, that would be the time. Very interesting how we switch back and forth between getting into the museum and getting the bison out. I wonder if either plan is going to work. But yeah, we are halfway through the book now. Woohoo! All right. If you like my videos, click like, subscribe, dingling the notification bell. And Roma, Reva, and Krishna, Auntie Heather loves you very much. And I love the rest of you too. Take care, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.